Good evening and welcome to Global Lens on Apna Watan TV. I am Saadia Afzaal. Tonight we dissect not only the words but the intent, the dangers and the possible consequences of President Trump's address to the United Nations General Assembly. Because in rhetoric there is policy and in policy there is impact. When the head of the most powerful country addresses the world's nations, what he says and perhaps more importantly, what he does not say signals the future of global order. When Trump took the rostrum, his frame was clear. The UN is broken, bloated, and toothless. He views it as an institution that issues resolutions but rarely enforces them. He challenged its legitimacy, demanded reforms, and reminded the audience sovereignty is paramount. The messaging plays two roles. One, to appeal to domestic audiences who believe global bodies are disrespecting national will. Two, to pressure other countries and the UN itself to accept a reshaped order aligned with his vision. His criticisms are not neutral, they are selective. They focus on migration, global climate norms, and security, particularly war zones he deems unfair. One of the central pillars of his address was Ukraine. Trump used it as a litmus test, not just of Russia's aggression, but of global hypocrisy. He accused China and India of funding conflict through energy purchases. He asked, how can you condemn aggression while doing business with the aggressor? He proposed tariffs, but the tariffs he proposed are not just economic tools, they are threats. They are signals. Cooperate our way or pay for your dissent. Now the question is, those countries who resist his demands, will they be cornered diplomatically? Will they be forced into choices? The UN is placed between great power demands and member sovereignty. Trump's address did not shy away from migration. He painted it as a crisis of identity, stability, and national security. In his narrative, open borders, mass flows, and weak vetting threaten not just security but culture and cohesion. He accused institutions, including the UN, of enabling or encouraging migration while lacking accountability. This is more than a policy debate. It is ideological. Who gets to belong? Who gets to decide? Who is us and who is them? In the next decade, how migration is shaped through international agreements, refugee protocols, or enforcement norms could redefine global demographics, voting blocs, even cultural majorities. Here is where the tensions deepen. Trump spoke with skepticism about climate alarmism, not because he denies change entirely, but because he rejects policies he sees as unfair mandates. The message was, you can't demand sacrifices from some while others pollute with impunity. He challenged the UN's moral high ground. He asked about the countries being exempted which are expanding fossil infrastructure. In essence, he's demanding a new global climate bargain. Not one based on guilt or prestige, but pragmatic equity. Will the UN accept that? Or will it resist seeing this as a pushback against its own climate agenda legacy? Perhaps the moment that will be replayed most, his tone on Israel, Gaza, and terror. He insisted there can be no reward for atrocity, no legitimacy for terror. Hostages must return. Civilians must be protected. It is moral language, but also leverage. Question is, who will define terror? Which actors get labeled as terrorists and which don't? And when he says beware to smugglers and extremists, that's more than rhetoric. It's a warning. Your days of impunity may be over. For states in conflict zones, that's a signal. align, or face isolation? Trump didn't merely criticize, he laid out what should change. Resolutions with teeth, transparency of budgets, merit over politics in appointments, rapid crisis response units within the UN, shared burdens, climate, peacekeeping, or migration. The UN, he says, must evolve or fade. He is not asking for polite restructuring. He issues demands. And behind those demands is power, economic power, military power, and diplomatic power. No address is without its contradictions. He champions sovereignty, yet demands others conform to the rules he wants. He attacks institutions, but expects them to deliver results he favors. He dismisses climate mandates, yet cannot fully abandon the global pressure or consequences. He positions the US as moral arbitrator, but the US itself must then withstand scrutiny. And finally, what if the UN resists? What if states reject unilateral Trump demands? That tension may lead us to a flashpoint between a reshaped multipolar order and a hegemon demanding renegotiation. President Trump's UNG address is more than a speech. It is a blueprint to reshape, to reclaim, and to reassert power over norms. Whether the world accepts or resists, that blueprint will define the next decade. This is Saadia Afzaal for Apna Watan TV.
You are watching Apna Watan.